looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can I get you out of my hand again? Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can get you out of my head, get you out of my head. Hurricane, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can I get you out of my hand again? Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can get you out of my head, get you out of my head again.
Please note.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. Run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin and the I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. Tell me this time is coming for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Now that I need you anyway.
Just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks a beat of down, I press the lens just to tell you, don't lead the way, don't leave a step. Then I try with a try to play in the rain. I feel
took it away, left me here, unable to find my way. Who killed the plan? Again, I set my sights so high, I dreamed of skies so bright, but life is a changing tide. Let's face it, embrace it, nothing happens the way I planned it. Unexpected, arises, I give it up, baby.
Always gotta throw that in there. Hello and welcome to the Honor Ramble. This is your Ring of Honor post show. I am your host, Auntie Collins, and we have some familiar faces. Guess who's back? Back again. Kyle's back. Tell your friends.
He's the real shadiest. He's the real shady. All the other slim shadies are just imitating.
I'd ask if anybody missed me, but I'm not sure I want to know the answer.
Yes, of course, of course. And then now we have a new player has entered the chat. The stunning Melball Collins. 2 Collinses,
Hello.
2 times the fun. I'm into it. All right, how are you? How did you enjoy episode 99? That wasn't 100.
Once I got over the stress and anxiety seeing the title of the show versus the show that I was watching, I felt great. I'm excited to be here. I got my voice back. I didn't have my voice last night. I don't know what I got. I got like a 1-day cough cold thing where my voice just went too low. And
Okay, that's
now here we
terrifying.
are.
Well, I'm glad that it's back and you can join us. Hello to our overlord,
Okay.
Bobby,
The
Hello.
Overlord.
the overlord. I love it so much. Someone posted on Twitter this week, oh, I thought Honor Ramble died. And you know what? It's not dead. We're not dead. We're
May not.
here. We're here to live to tell the tale. I don't know if that's a
There
good
are some
thing
tales to
or. Oh, see,
know,
it was just the holidays. It was
It
just
was.
the holidays.
Was just
Was.
on holiday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we needed the extra week to deal with
But
the
yeah,
glorious chaos.
it's we Honor Club has made it nearly 100 episodes. It'll be 100 next week. Yes.
I can't believe it. That's insane. It was just this time last year that Kyle said, hey, do you want to do a post show? What a wild world we've been on, because how did we get here? How did we get here?
Well, it all started back in about 2002 when Rob Feinstein decided that
Yeah. We're going to,
Different
I was ready to buckle up to be in this history lesson. Come on.
Right? I was like, I am
Oh.
going to hear a history from high school graduation going forward. Let's go.
For
Actually, no, that's
free.
not true. I graduated high school in 2000, so that's not that far off. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not.
See, I'm the young one now. This is fun. This is fun.
No, if I were to do a real thing on that, I wouldn't trust myself to do it off the top of my head. There's probably a lot that I can remember, but I'm enough of a stickler that I would not want to do it without being really researched in the process.
All right. If you're watching this live, or if you're watching this on the replay crew, hi, hello, replay crew. Hit that like, share, subscribe. Put that little bell notification on if you want to know when we are going live, because we go live every day in a week, which is crazy. But put in the chat if you think that Kyle should do a history of, because I even if it was a series, you can't do that all in one shoot. I would love a history of.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Pressure.
Yeah.
There are also some great resources on social media that are doing some fantastic work. ROH from the beginning on Blue Sky has doing some fantastic stuff. They're going over every ROH show from the beginning, as the title says. They just did a review today on Back to Basics, which was from 2005, the spring of 2005, right after they're in Best of American Super Juniors. So they're just getting into the good stuff. We're in Austin Aries' first title run right now there. I say we like I have any connection at all.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're doing this project? This is a Kyle Sparks? Kyle K.
No,
Sparks?
this is just something that I see and I appreciate. And I know the former Shane Hagedorn, who is working backstage with AEW now, is also working on a book. So that's something to keep an eye on. I will find the appropriate accounts, and we'll share those at some point too, because I'm very much looking forward to that as it comes out.
I selfishly want one for our local establishment. So
let's see.
Nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
Wink, wink.
I am looking. I'm trying to find what the name of the account was right now that they were working on it on, but I'll have to dig it up later. But in any event, there are resources out there to learn more about the history of Ring of Honor. If there's demand for me to participate in one of these projects, or to start our own for OLE, or write something for Body Slam, let's see what we can do. But we had a show tonight.
Just jump into this like completely blind, not knowing any kind of backstory or anything, and being completely confused and baffled as to what's going on.
Listen, the word ramble is on our post show because we are not always talking about honor and Ring of Honor. Sometimes we ramble. Sometimes we talk about whatever. But we have a 3-man booth now again. So we got a short show, an hour of a show, an hour and some change. Do y'all want to dive in?
Let's go.
Are you ready to dive in? All right. Well,
let's dive in.
I thought it was episode 100, so my notes say episode 100. We're going to dive right in. I'm sure that there's lots of metaphors for that. But we start this episode 99 with QT Marshall. QT Marshall beat Commander in a proving ground match last week. And the board of directors.
Remember when that was a thing? Remember the board of directors? That we thought they forgot, but they didn't.
The continuity here. We are rich in it. But they decided for the 100th episode, Mr. Paul White, right? That QT Marshall will be taking his shot for the ROH TV championship. So we already have something to look forward to for episode 100. I already changed it. Bob.
Heck yeah, we're
You
good to
could
go.
just leave it as like episode 100. Psych.
Just kidding. What do y'all think about QT Marshall being the cold open into Ring of Honor?
It always feels weird to me when they run the cold open as something that they released on social media earlier that day, which that was a thing that happened. But that being said, you know what? Fine. We didn't. It moves the story forward, such as it is. With what story there is to be moved. That QT is functionally playing a slightly altered version of God's gift to pro wrestling, as he was back in the back.
God's gift of pro wrestling. Sorry, that made me laugh.
Well, that was the gimmick, I guess, for want of a better term, that QT was running in his original run in Ring of Honor back in the late 2010s. When he first debuted in the company, and that was where the Marshall came, because he was very insistent that Bobby Cruz announced him as QT Marshall, not Marshall. It was all this kind of silly nonsense. And
It is how I remember him.
yeah, so
Yeah,
this
I was
was
going to say, Bobby in the comments there, God's Gift to Wrestling is a completely different thing to me out here. That's Michael Richard Blaze's moniker and has been since I started watching him wrestle. So I'm like, wait, what? Who?
Shout out over to Everything Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
Hello.
I want us that might not have been the correct nickname. I know he had God's Gift on his trunks at one point, which on the back of your trunks that paints a very different picture. But that's
Yeah.
That's where the
nevertheless
the magic spot is located, right? I don't know. I don't have one, so.
Nevertheless, he was in ROH starting in 2012. So he had that whole thing. He got the title shot, for those of you unaware. As Auntie said, he lasted the 10-minute time limit in a match with Commander a couple weeks ago. And so that earned him his shot. This is, I was surprised by this. This is actually QT's first shot at the TV title.
Oh,
I felt like he had gotten one because he had floated around that level of the card during his last run and spent 4 years in ROH, but apparently never got an actual title shot. So
that's strange.
Well, that's our big marquee match apparently for the 100th show, and there'll probably be a lot of other squashes and proving ground matches and nonsense. But we got a title match, so there's that.
Yeah, I saw some pictures from the tapings that were happening today. All of our favorites are there, and that's all I know. But
happy to see a promo. I don't get a lot of promos out here, and the wrestling that I watch, it's Japanese. I can't even understand them anyway, and there's usually not subtitles for me, so I'm just usually going based on tone and expression. So it was nice to have someone kind of cutting a promo. And what I really enjoyed about QT's is that he actually speaks with like a very, very arrogant level of confidence and conviction, and that you believe what he's saying. It makes him and his character so believable. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say anything that QT Marshall does is believable, but we go right into our opening contest, which is an 8-man tag team match of predictability. We have the wrestler Katsuyori Shibata, Commander, the Ring of Honor TV champ, and the Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd, which are mouthfuls. And they are against the Stew Crew, which I did not know which guy was which. Colby Carter and Rosario Grillo.
I'd like to make my first complaint as a first-time viewer.
Listen, the newbie will speak now.
Say, I don't know who the hell the other team was, except for Colby Carter. That was the only one I caught. I was like, I know there was a Dylan and a Zach, but I didn't know which one was which. And there was points I couldn't. Your commentary, commentary was really no help in this one at all for me. And then on top of that, the little images, the graphics that they flashed up, it's great that it gives me their following handles, but I'd like to know what their effing names are before I know what their Instagram handle is, because I don't know if I want to follow them yet or not. So maybe let's do some improvement on that.
Well, Bobby said it so well. 19 minutes in, and Melball has fit perfect in on Honor Ramble.
Hey.
I love
Absolutely.
it. Hello to our friend Ed. So glad Mama is doing well. So great to see Kyle. Listen, why isn't it great to see me? Why fuck me for? Come on. Fine.
Do you not know who the boss is on this show, Ed?
I guess not. Jeez.
I'm in the middle.
Well, Well, the babyface tag team as part of this match feels like the setup to a joke.
Do I understand this joke?
So Shibata Commander and the Outrunners walk into a ring and squash the hell out of 4 guys that we don't know who the hell they are. Wait. Except it wasn't. It lasted almost 8 minutes.
I know. This match was way too long, to be honest. And for it to be your opening contest, come on. Come on.
But yeah, I have a note that like I swore that the Stew Crew looked familiar. Like they just had that look about them of maybe it's just a generic indie look or something. I don't know. I was like, I swear I had seen them somewhere in something before. But I popped up their cage match and I'm like, I don't recognize any of this. I don't know. Like they showed up in the NWA, which I don't watch, and they showed up in some indies around the Tennessee area. And it's like, I've never seen any of these things. I guess they just have that look about them, I guess.
Listen, if I have that look about me as an indie wrestler, I know that I've either made it or I need to do something real quick because at least I'm on the show, you know? You're on it.
That said, Rosario Grillo has been around a bunch. He's shown up as enhancement talent for different AEW shows and ROH shows all over the place. So not super surprising to see him. And to address what Mel was talking about, Ian sometimes is better than what he was in this match in terms of helping identify who's in the ring, who's doing what, and so on and so forth. Even for enhancement teams like that, just because, you know, these guys are putting in the work too, and they deserve their credit just like anybody else. But no, there wasn't much of that, at least in this match.
Yeah. I put the best part about this match was everybody's entrances. I really love what they're doing and how they're showcasing the Outrunners. My Outrunner shirt just came in. It is a custom tie-dyed shirt. I'm so stoked to be wearing that. Sucks that they're not Ring of Honor exclusive, but where else are you going to get TV time and experience than Ring of Honor, right? The crowd absolutely obsessed with Shibata. These chants were fantastic. To my knowledge, these were taped right after the big weekend in Japan, so he did not look exhausted in the slightest. Him being a part of AEW Wrestle Dynasty, which to be fair,
he barely did anything.
I was about to say, to be
he and
fair,
Tanahashi spent 5 minutes chopping the hell out of each other.
But I'm just saying, it's a long way to fly there and a long way to fly back. So I get exhausted because I don't know about y'all, but I don't really sleep on flights. Do you?
It depends on who's sitting next to me and the comfort level kind of there. If I know the person I'm traveling with, it's going to be a little easier to feel secure. But if I'm traveling by myself, no, it's fight or flight mode from start to finish.
What do you think? And Kaya, how do you travel?
I've never been on a flight longer than about 3.5, 4 hours. So I don't feel like it's worth sleeping on anyway.
Y'all, this is the problem about me being in the upper left United States, because every flight that isn't like a West Coast thing is like multiple hours. So every time I go visit,
in the middle of my country.
Yeah. So you get it.
Hours every direction.
That's how it feels. It's like 6 hours every direction. It's like if I'm going to Chicago, it's like a 5-hour flight. If I'm going to New Jersey, it's like 6 hours plus. If I'm going to Texas, it's 6 hours plus. If I'm going to Florida, it's like 8.5 hours. When I went to
Europe, Europe is killer for me.
It was one of those, like, I'm preparing for a 24-hour day. I can put in noise canceling headphones and I can take a Valium and I can just like be out of it. But the quality of sleep, because I am how tall I am, mm-hmm. and how big I am as a person, flights weren't made for people 6 foot plus. It's just I don't have the kind of cash to be sitting in first class So I'm having people hit me with drink trays and babies crying and screaming. I'm always next to another large person if I'm flying by myself. So the odds of us having a relaxation flight, it's not in my favor. So I rarely rest on flights. All that to say, Shibata is a different person, but to fly all the way to Japan, grapple for 5 minutes, and fly back and still look this good. I mean, it was a tag match, so it's not like he was, you know. It's still like going to Japan is like a 25-hour flight, 26-hour flight from Seattle.
The same way when I saw Mina, and it's like,
Yeah.
I saw Mina Shirakawa in Edmonton, but all she did was run in and celebrate with Mariah May and leave. I didn't actually get to see her do anything, and that was all she did. She
Yeah.
literally just flew in from Japan to do that. So it's like the same thing. It's like, bleh. But then what's the commonality there? AEW. So that's what Tony does.
Yeah, that's true. It's got that night's flight. Hey to Eric, welcome to the show. And Bobby, you get it. It hurts. Although after several card attacks, I fell asleep. Oh my god, no! But I love the Shibata chants. I loved how good Commander looked in this match. I know that it wasn't a full Commander match, but the way that he's wrestling is very TV champion. Love seeing a champion on Ring of Honor television. I mean, not television, streaming. I don't know. But of note, I'm really annoyed that they didn't really identify which one of the Stew crew, who was Dylan, who was Zach. I don't know. They just kept saying one half of the Stew crew is in the ring, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
It's almost like they didn't know.
To be fair, they didn't need to. They're not signed, you know. They're just getting their licks in. So, but at the end, Shibata was tagged in. And he really wanted to show exactly why he is the wrestler, despite what New Japan wants to tell you. He knocked Rosario to the corner. Commander got a big flippy thing. I never know how much it is. They always say it's 450, but I don't know. Am I wrong on that? It was a 450 splash.
Wasn't that his rope walk shooting star press?
Yeah.
For the finish?
For the finish, yeah.
Yeah, it was his rope walk shooting star press.
Oh, see? I don't even know how many times people rotate. I'm bad at that part. But
because in the shooting star press backwards, right? Not forward.
Oh yeah, you go the backwards. So you guys are right. But yeah, when he hit that, I was like, okay, ref is not, you know, really. He's the ref being too. I don't know. Is weird. Anyways, Shibata at the end rolled up Rosario for the win.
It was because Commander wasn't legal, so that was why. Even though the shooting star usually finishes people, we added on a gratuitous PK.
But why did that need to be happening? Right? Like there was no rhyme, no reason. Just get it in, I guess.
I feel like that was probably the case here because, like, from the structure of my notes, it was like Shibata and Commander at the beginning and Shibata and Commander at the end. The whole kind of meaty innards of the match was various tag team or singles kind of in and outs from the Outlanders or Outrunners. Sorry, Outlanders.
Yeah.
They run. Yes,
they run.
They run. Yes, they run. So I've been hearing a little bit about these guys, and when I first saw them, I'm like, they're very 80s. They reminded me very 80s. And the first person that my mother said was the one person you don't want to compare these guys to when she saw them, and I was like, Mama, no, don't say the Double H. That's not who that is.
Oh no.
Yeah.
If
she knows who Rhea Ripley is. We can bless her on that one. Yeah, this was kind of like my first time seeing like a really good full match with the Outrunners, because before I was kind of like, who are these guys? They're kind of like I see clips of them on AEW because I don't watch AEW regularly, so I just kind of see clips on like socials and stuff. I'm like, these guys seem a little ridiculous. It was nice to have a full match to see the full level of ridiculous that they are, and I
Mhm.
love it. At first, I was kind of like confused about what it was they were doing, where they fit, but they are such an endearing and good, well-oiled machine of a tag team. I really appreciate the energy that they bring in when they're in the ring, and I feel that's why the match kind of seemed to focus a lot on them because it got the crowd hyped up for the rest of the show.
Well,
Well,
assuming that it was taped in order, which
yeah.
it may or may not have actually been.
It wasn't.
Whoever copy pasted the order of the match for me.
Yeah.
We've run into continuity errors watching the show before, where something that has something that happens in an earlier match is unhappened in a later match.
Yeah. Signs,
How indie of
people.
them.
Yeah. It's
Ugh.
interessante. Well, okay. After this was the part that I am always looking forward to, Shane Taylor promotions. Well, it is the Shane Taylor. His little promo came in next. High quality. Loved seeing all of his face. But he's talking about how he has been fighting for his life. He's never going to quit. And that this is the Shane Taylor era in wrestling. He is such a beautiful man that that's what I wrote for here. And I'm a little bit disappointed because I'm like, wait, I didn't write more because that promo was really good.
Was.
Shane has
I
always been a
love
super
promos.
underrated talker.
Yeah.
I've not heard a whole ton about Shane Taylor's promos, but I do remember him when he was going through a battle with, I think it was Jeff Cobb back in the day. I feel old now because I feel like that was like 6 years ago.
Mhm.
But that was kind of like my introduction to him. So he was kind of like one of the faces besides Shibata that I recognized immediately. I was like, oh, okay, I know this guy. I really, really liked this promo. This was a well done promo because it was like almost a theatrical style promo without feeling theatrical. It
Mhm.
felt very gritty. It felt very in your face. And it also kind of felt like an advertisement for him as well as the rest of the faction that he's with. And
Mhm.
almost kind of gave me a don't call us, we'll call you when the time is right kind of vibe. I liked the kind of foundation that it laid down. These are a heel faction, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
Okay, yeah, very, very much felt like a heel promo. I'm here for it. I liked it.
Yeah, as you saw in the main event, it's comprised of Shane Taylor, the pure champion Lee Moriarty, the
Mhm.
infantry, and Trish Adora.
I know Trisha Dora. I didn't know who the other two were. They also didn't help themselves in helping me know who they were. They were just
You know what I love
completely
is
covered.
that this promo gave Final Boss. Right? This
Yeah.
is the kind of wrestler that we've been wanting for Shane Taylor. I'm ready for him to take it off of Chris Jericho. Right? Like,
Please.
God, get him out of there. I don't care what two weirdos in their mom's basements are buying all of those Chris Jericho shirts, wanking each other off. We need to get Chris Jericho out of Ring of Honor. He didn't belong here the first time. Didn't belong here. It doesn't belong here for the second time. I don't care that he's the Nueve now. Don't care about Chris Jericho. I'm here for Shane Taylor because I'm here for a new Ring of Honor. You want to be the AEW Ring of Honor? Let's get something fresh and new. Get Shane Taylor era into this because this Final Boss, this sitting with the suit jacket and the chain and the matching chair and the background, yes, give me that. You want someone to just slowly look at their prey and kind of one up them and give you everything. That's what Shane Taylor is going to bring. So listen.
I will. Here's my hot take. That is probably not super hot, but I guess it's it's whatever it is. I genuinely believe that if ROH had not gone on hiatus and had to reinvent itself under Tony Khan's ownership, ROH went on hiatus, for those unaware, after Final Battle 2021. Sinclair Broadcast Group was kind of done with it. And they were going to sort of reformat the organization and presumably start looking for a buyer and so on and so forth. Obviously, we know how that ended. At Final Battle 2021, Shane Taylor beat Kenny King, who, by the way, can we get Kenny King on board with this new ROH?
I miss
He's not doing
Kenny
anything
King.
right now.
Ugh, such a beautiful man, too.
Shane beat Kenny King in a fight without honor. My take is, if ROH had not gone on hiatus, Shane Taylor would have been ROH World Champion.
I
That
agree.
was going to happen. I feel it in my bones that was going to happen. And it can still happen, and it needs to happen very quickly, because I don't think the TV deal is coming. I twice now we've been sold this bill of goods with Chris Jericho that this is going to be the harbinger of the TV deal for ROH. It's not coming. So build a good product for Honor Club, and that involves getting Chris Jericho the hell away from it.
We didn't even need to go over the rest of the show. Bye, everybody. That was good. Gee, Willikers. I actually definitely, you know what? I actually want to go rewatch that Final Battle, because that was like their going out of business sale. And I remember Ian, Riccaboni, and Caprice were just like, well, I can't get fired, so I can't get fired, so I'm going to say whatever I want, which is the kind of wrestling commentary and kind of wrestling that I want to see. Wrestle like you're going to get fired. Do everything like you're going to get fired. It's a little bit stressful, but that's where some of the best stuff comes from.
Some awesome stuff on that show. Shane Taylor versus Kenny King in a fight without honor. Jonathan Gresham versus Jay Lethal for the ROH World title. The Briscoes against the Kingdom for the tag team titles. Like, a lot of super fun stuff on that show.
Yeah. Well, super fun stuff. We go into the Premier Athletes versus the Peace Mortals. Someone please properly roast me for my segues, because
Oh no. I honestly, I'm just laughing at the Premier Athletes, and it is the bit is so objectively dumb by now, but I laugh at it every single time. Of
Premier Athletes
and
suck.
Sterling on the mic and explaining to the audience that he wasn't going to do it this time, but because Josh Woods convinced him, we're gonna try it one more time. Only obviously it ends exactly how you anticipate it's going to, but I'm just a sucker for that kind of just really dumb humor. I love it. It's silly. It's fun.
Yes.
Yes, the corn cob abs.
The corn cob abs. I have a fascination.
They
Melball.
split off and go up into his armpits.
I don't understand how it happens, but this is just my favorite of all time.
Oh my God.
I mean, look at him, like uncensored. Like, I don't understand how they just
Uncensored.
Yes, it's called uncensored. But I mean, come on. I don't understand.
What are we not understanding? Do we need to put it up again for more?
I don't understand how someone can look like that. Listen, I don't understand how anyone can look like that. It's their job.
A lot of beef.
But this match had so much muscle, so much beef in the ring. This was a very Auntie Collins coded match where my jaw was dropped the entire time. And here's my problem. The Premier Athletes, are they going to win? No, they're there to be a joke, right? Premier Athletes, and then the crowd say, suck. Hearing the crowd chant, "You're a pussy," was really like chef's kiss on top of this, because how funny that the crowd was even like this. We have to take over this match, because what in the hell is this? However, I love the Beast Mortos. I mean, the former Black I can never say it.
Taurus.
Taurus.
Toru. I'm not even drinking.
What was
Taurus. I don't know how to say it. Taurus. Like
What's that?
You're putting in extra vowels somehow.
It's almost sounding like a blub.
I don't know how to do the. I don't know how to say it.
There's letters there that I'm not sure are English.
I don't think anything that I say is English. I just happenstance happened to be here. But I'm glad that he's now Beast Mortos because I can say that. Oh my goodness.
More toes.
But
Oh my god.
toes. Melba, what did you think of this match?
So I actually had a lot of fun with this match. Partially because I know who Tony Nese was from his WWE time, and I was like, hey, I liked this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was made fun of just as much there as he is here. And I saw actually Beast Mortos here in Edmonton last year when he was at Top Talent. So I was like, oh, I know both of these people. This is going to be phenomenal. I do appreciate that. That was the manager's name, Sterling.
Yeah,
Smart Mark Sterling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that he came out doing the cringe promo thing. It's been a hot minute since I've gotten like some great manager culture, and in New Japan, we don't really have a lot of that manager valet kind of thing. Like even like Yujiro Takahashi, the Tokyo Pimp, he has no hose. It's the most redundant thing and doesn't make sense. Anyway,
Well,
I
Peter's long gone.
Yeah, she's in like Brazil doing Carnival. She's bigger and better things.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I appreciated that he did this because again, I don't get a lot of manager stuff. So I was like, this is new, this is cringe. It gave me indie vibes while still being very funny. And the having to get people to tell them what to say, it was like again, very cringe, very funny. But yeah, I thought this was actually a really fun little match showing off both of these guys what they're capable of doing. There was some points though where I did feel like there was like not the kind of perfect melding that I would expect. Where like there was some little hiccups where there was one point where Nice went for a springboard. I'm not entirely sure what happened. He just kind of collided with Mortos and they kind of picked it up from there, but I was like, that was a little odd. And when Mortos also did the that Zack Sabre Jr.'s-esque kind of neck twist, I noticed it just where the angle was, it was not a good shot because you could see him pull his foot a little early, where Zack Sabre Jr. keeps it down, so you could tell there was a little work happening in the move. I did appreciate the interaction of the premier athletes on the outside. It made a lot of sense with the kind of weird story that they kind of have going on. I love how the one guy who was like actually like in a fighting stance, trying to go like fisticuffs with Mortos at one point, and I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" Even though you are a comparable size, it's very obvious with your stance that you have zero idea what you're doing. He's gonna freaking kick your head off. And he did.
Which is ironic because Josh Woods was a collegiate amateur wrestler and won a national championship.
Then why you do a karate
making it as big and theatrical as he can on the outside, I guess. I don't know.
It was, and it worked. It looked really, really funny. Like this for me was kind of like a comedy match with like the serious part of it being when they actually were starting to wrestle. But I felt like there was a lot of character work just to make the crowd kind of feel interacted with, because there was a ton of crowd interaction in this match with Nice, flipping the people off at one point when he was calling for the table spot, but then not giving it to us. I love it. It was a really, really great way to work him because I never saw that kind of character of him beforehand. In WWE, he kind of felt like he was a pussy. It was in the WWE. He was a pussy there. Whereas this one, they're playing it like he is when we know full well he's not, and he's just having a lot of fun with it while still getting paid. But yeah.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of this match was, oh, great. We know the outcome. But are they still going to have a good match? Hell yeah. I mean, they're professional wrestlers. They know how to do all the things. I really liked the part where everything that Tony Nese trying to do to Beast Mortos seemed to bounce off him.
Mm-hmm.
Try to do, a running clothesline, trying to do, something off the top rope and hit him, where there was a moment that I thought that he was trying to do something off the top rope, and it looked like Beast Mortos was supposed to catch him, but he just kind of like collided with him.
Yeah,
but
they played.
He dropped him, and I'm like, oh, that was weird. But then they just kept going in the sequence of, okay, he kind of caught him, and now Tony Nese is on the mat. Oh, now we're just trying to beat him. Okay, we're running with it. That's how professionals are. You can tell that this is not their first time wrestling, obviously. But I really like the work that they were doing outside of the ring. And usually I hate when wrestlers take things outside the ring, when it's not a street fight or it's not a stipulation. But the work that they were doing outside the ring, using the steps, having Josh Woods come in, why is he not winning matches? Why is he not in the title contention? Because that boy looks so fine, so good. But
I've been calling Josh Woods a future ROH World Champion for literally years.
He needs to be. I mean, he spent enough time. Here.
Well, also you can go back to his team with Silas Young back in the day, when they were part of Two Guys One Tag, which I'm not making that up. That was actually the name of their team.
What? Oh my gosh!
Oh,
see,
dear.
this is why you need me around on this show, I guess, because I pulled stuff like Two Guys One Tag out, and some people actually remember that.
God, I miss Silas Young. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Silas Young was fantastic. I'd love to see Josh Woods against Beast Mortos. I think that'd be a blast.
Do you want me to just all over everywhere? Come on.
Speaking of matches that are Auntie coded.
Yeah. I love Meanie Man. There was also a comment on commentary that kind of pissed me off. Because they were like, oh, Ring of Honor has its plethora of ring announcers, which is like, okay, cool. But then they mentioned, just like we have a plethora of luchadors. And the camera just panned to Beast Mortos, which is like, he's technically a luchador, but like, he does flippy stuff, but he also does big beefy stuff and hard-hitting stuff. Like, would you consider him a luchador?
Yeah. 100%. Because, if you look at some of the Lucha Libre stuff coming out of CMLL and AAA, those are the two that I watch. You got 50% of your locker room are looking like Commander.
Yeah.
And the other 50% look like Mortos, but, with more of a gut. It's just... but they all move in the same way, with the same effortlessness and the same fluidity. It's very chaotically beautiful and crazy at the same time. Because, these men shouldn't be able to move the way they do. It goes back to a quote that Kevin Kelly once said, it's just not fair, the size of them, that they can do that. But some of these guys are training since they were 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I gotta tell my son to get on that then. Guys, this is just, he's already 9 and he's not, what the heck? Come on.
Right, start him young.
Jeez, Ed. Don't tell anyone.
Astrid's in the chat.
Wait, you got to do it with us. Screenshot that.
Yes.
You're welcome. They're having a chat right now, by the way, that I keep getting notifications of. Because they are watching Traitors right now, which
Oh.
why is it on
Oh.
Thursdays this year? It was
See, this is why I hit the English language. When you said traders, I'm like, TRADER? You're watching people trade things? Why?
Mhm.
Is that you
Listen,
have Honor Ramble to watch?
You don't know how I watch the stock exchange. Yeah. I
So
even
the
got
WWE people are ringing the bell, right?
Yeah. I already know who got banished, and I'm mad about it. I knew that was going to happen, but I won't spoil it for you. Tomorrow, speaking of Traders, the show, tomorrow on my channel, I'm interviewing the Ella J. We're going to talk all about Traders. It's Collins on the Rocks, and it's happy hour. So bring your drinks if you want to come have fun. Auntie is big. Listen, if the big Japanese stock market looks like Jeff Cobb,
Those are some big thick legs.
I'm into that kind of stock exchange. Stockier the better. Get it? Y'all, I think I'm so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, after this match, guess what? It's my favorite part.
MXM are here. And Ian sounds like an excited little child, and I love it so much.
It was so funny. He sounded like a girl getting excited for Justin Bieber back when he was a thing.
Listen, we all get excited about tips touching. So
See,
MXM
that also has a different meaning to me out here.
What does it mean to you?
It's the same thing. We have a team that does this out here.
Oh,
the tip touching. Yeah.
That's so funny. I love tip touching. So
We do too.
MXM is backstage. They are calling out the Ring of Honor Tag Champions, the Sons of Texas, and congratulating them on their title defense in the Tokyo Dome. But they do say the only domes that they should be taking is from them. You know?
Take your domes and knock them
together. I absolutely loved this. They stared deep into my soul at the end, and when they took their glasses off, they were wearing lashes.
What they were nice lashes too.
They were fluttering. It got my heart racing.
I think, but you're also, I think you're bearing the quote from the money quote from this interview, where they talk about the Sons of Texas consider themselves tough guys, you know, Texas death match, Texas bull rope match. And as Mansoor says, MXM knows how to get hardcore. And Madden adds, and we know how to get tied up.
Oh, yes.
And just,
you did.
And they just roll on past it. We should roll on past that moment.
I just rolled right past it because I don't think I understood that. Bull rope just tied up.
I remember that. I had a little chuckle at that. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is an AEW. Okay, you're good. Yeah.
I know. But what do you guys think of MXM going for those tag titles versus the Son of Texas? I think, yeah, y'all can.
I'll start this one, I guess. The Sons of Texas have kind of run their course as the tag team champions. We had a couple of fun moments. We're kind of working on the Sammy Guevara reclamation project, but there's plenty of other tag teams that could benefit from those belts. The MXM collection, the Outrunners, the Righteous, the Infantry. You know, we could keep going. I don't think that it's really critical that these folks, that the Sons of Texas continue to do this. But
Hi, Millie.
but I love the idea of finally moving them into a tag title program, and I wouldn't hate them winning the belts. I would still put them on the Outrunners, I think, but I wouldn't hate this either.
Melball, what do you think?
Seen these guys a couple times, but I haven't seen them in a tag match. I've only seen singles matches with these ones.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that, I can't remember if it was a singles or a tag match at the Maple Leaf Pro show. But I like how the smaller one is. That one Mansoor?
That is Mansoor, yes.
I like his wrestling style, and his look is like, it's just so good. I love how he just, it's like it gives him this crazy, awesome confidence that he just walks in and owns the character. I love this team so far from what I've seen. I'd
Mhm.
like to see them wrestle a little bit so that I can get a little bit better of a feel for their style. But like from this promo alone, I'm excited to see them in a match.
I agree. I think the heat is definitely on the Outrunners right now, especially with how much merch they're selling, how much they're doing. But I mean, the merch is selling also for MXM. They just came out with this cool polo button up. I don't know. I think it's a button up. But it has their little logo on it. I mean, they do such great work. So whoever takes it off them, fine by me. I have this weird thing about people that aren't Ring of Honor people having Ring of Honor titles, especially since Dustin Rhodes also is holding hostage the trios championships with the other boys from Texas, the Von Erichs, which is just, remember when that was a thing? It's because people are out with injury. Like, why can't we just
Marshall,
address
I
that?
think. Isn't it like Marshall, like tore a bicep or something like that, I think?
Yep. But why can't we talk about it? Why do we got to be like, we pretend that they don't exist? I don't like it.
To be entirely fair, Tony may have forgotten that the ROH 6-man titles exist.
I was going to say, as an NJPW person who's been through this before a few times with Tony, yeah, they just seem to take the stuff and forget that they have it. Or they remember that they have it, but they just don't care. I don't know. I didn't know he was a multi-champion. Why does he get multi-pass?
Because he's Dustin Rhodes and he's retiring.
Because ROH has had a residency in Texas, and so we decided to Texas up all the belts, apparently.
Yep.
Or at least all the ones that nobody pays attention to, i.e. tag team.
Yeah.
The tag division is really, like, I don't know how it is here, but like in New Japan, it's suffering. It is not a great thing to be watching right now. So it's kind of giving me that vibes. But I'm also just not I'm kind of having the same sentiment as Auntie. I don't like it when people who aren't a part of companies or aren't signed regularly to the companies or aren't regular TV people in the companies have titles for companies. Just because people like us, the fans, we do pay to see the champions. We are paying to see the other talent, obviously, too, but we're paying to see champions. So when they're not coming around, it's kind of like, well, what am I paying for? If I wanted a summertime person, I'd go on Instagram.
That's fair.
And it's very fair. And the word that we're running into this with Chris Jericho as the world champion again, and we don't need to go into that a second time. I already had my rant for the week. And yes, Ed is more or less right. Ed wants people to watch AEW to see ROH champs. It gets into this weird situation where, and I've complained about this about ROH in the past, where so too often important things don't happen on ROH TV, especially involving the titles, because presumably there's this concern that not enough eyeballs will see them. But then not enough people are subscribing in the first place because nothing important happens. And it turns into this vicious cycle of, well, yeah, just start booking things to happen on the show, and guess what? People will watch the show. Get your champions there. And we've gone back and forth about this on this show, on other ROH things that I've talked about, other shows in the past, of all the different things that we want to do to fix Ring of Honor, or to at least guide it towards the Ring of Honor that we remember. And one of them was, oh my God, please give it a dedicated roster. Please have the champions show up every week. Just little stuff like that you can do, and so much of it doesn't get done. And ROH does have a history of, like, they put their tag titles on Naruki Doi and Masato Yoshino at one point, coming out of Dragon Gate back in the mid 2000s. Granted, it was only for like a couple of weeks, but even still, like, that was a thing. But it was only a couple of weeks. It's a kind of thing that you can do for a fun shock title change with a promotion that you're working with, and okay, that's great. But this is not somebody who's not week to week in your promotion holding a title for 6 months. That's an entirely different matter. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm rambling. What the show says.
That's what we do here, I hear.
It is.
We ramble. But you know what? I'm ready for Ring of Honor to be Ring of Honor again. And you know who's going to do that? Blake Christian. I love this little asshole. Blake Christian versus hometown hero Parker Lee, which I couldn't figure out what state was tattooed on his chest.
It looked like it was Oregon.
It looked like it was Oregon, but I thought that they were just talking about being in Georgia.
He did train at the Nightmare Factory.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So now I'm confused. Why was it Oregon? That's what I looked at most of this match was, what state is that?
Maybe he just really likes the Oregon Ducks.
Feel sorry for
I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was like just a generic tag. I didn't even think it was a state. I just thought it was like the outline of a gift tag.
Yeah, I have this brilliant idea.
Just putting an outline on there. It's like you're not giving me a whole lot to go on.
Well, once you get out west, the states tend to get a lot more geometric. So
listen, mine is shaped like
his birth oasis.
Mine is shaped like.
Oh, Ed. Yeah, George's birthplace. And yeah. As Auntie tries to contort their hand into the state of Washington.
Listen, if I had I used my newly adulted money when I was 18, 19, I would have had on my bicep the state of Washington and the state of New Jersey making a heart. That doesn't make sense. But I used to draw
you might be able to manipulate Jersey, but how do you do Washington in that?
Listen, I'll go find my journals from 2010 for you.
Early after dark.
See, my state, all I have to do is that.
Oh, if you point.
Yeah, that's a thing that we do. That's a thing that happens.
I love it. Well,
there was a point a couple of years ago where Wisconsin tried to claim the whole mitten thing for themselves, and it's like, no, you stop it, no.
But they're like,
it's wrong. It doesn't work.
Wrong.
No, apologies to anybody from Wisconsin who might be watching.
Listen, y'all are cold right now. Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all are cold. Is there snow outside? I didn't even ask.
There is.
Oh gosh, yeah. Like here, there's been like snow for at least like a month and a half.
What a weird place to live where there's snow.
I mean, sometimes I walk out and be like, why do I live where the air hurts my face? And it's because it kills all the bugs.
I mean, that's fair.
That is true. It is handy.
Mm-hmm.
Handy?
Uh,
I need to leave. Okay. What did y'all think of this squash match featuring Blake Christian and Parker Lee?
I liked it.
Melball, tell me about it.
I liked it. I
for
liked it.
for a bit, I was befuddled as to why Blake Christian's whole entrance bit was so why ice cream was suddenly so integral to it. But
Oh,
then I
Vanilla
remembered
Baby.
Vanilla Baby. It's like
Yeah, he's Vanilla Baby.
Yeah.
I still remember him as All Heart, so I'm like I'm behind.
A little bit, but that's okay.
I have to brag because we saw him at LPW not too long ago and got a picture with him. I was excited. I was so excited. I had a tiny fist in my picture and everything. I was just like, oh my God. Like
He's the kind of wrestler that like he has the spirit of a chihuahua, right?
Yeah.
Just little baby guy, little cutesy, could look cutesy, but will bite your face off, you know? Just
Oh, absolutely. Unprovoked.
Unprovoked, exactly.
No
but
warning, just.
But I want to cradle him. I want to scoop him up.
Can I pet that dog?
Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog?
That dog.
Oh.
If not friend, why friend shaped?
Yeah, exactly. Listen,
Yeah.
foam
I was
finger.
not expecting to hear that reference tonight, so thank you for that.
I loved it.
I had so much fun with this match, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like the character that Christian is really starting to put out here, the where he almost feigns being a face, but then suddenly retracts it and goes into that deadpan heel. I'm loving it. Also because I've experienced it myself. He was working on this for so long. It's so fun. But then he's so good. He's got that weird, unique styling that you just don't see anywhere else. Like when he did that spear to Lee on the apron, and then he hits him with the spear and then dives into the ring in the same movement. It's so good. But even just there was that one point where he did a simple shotgun drop kick, hit the ground, and immediately kicked back up to his feet in that cocky kind of way. And I was just like, this man is so good at what he does. And I remember seeing him the first time on New Japan's Strong brand when they started during COVID, when he did not have this confidence. He did not have this character. He performed just as well. He just was like Sonata. He was almost like a confidence and a like, what is the word? A charisma vacuum. He didn't have that personality. And then he went through whatever ish he went through with the WWE and GCW, and now we're here. And oh my God, has the trauma worked for this one?
Has the trauma worked?
Yeah. Like, man, like, because he wasn't given a great opportunity in WWE. GCW, he had a phenomenal run, but then like right in the middle of the I think it was the Best of the Super Juniors, he got the title stripped off of him right in the last like couple of matches by Cardona. Kind of felt he got the short end of the stick on that one. But yeah, last thing I wanted to say about this, I really like how Lee kind of almost reminded me of like 20-year-old Paul London. Like that brought
I had a note about that I actually deleted because I was like, would people get that?
He looked exactly like Paul London. Like it brought me back to my early 20s, because that was when the Hooligans, London and Kendrick were such a phenomenal thing. But I was like, oh my God, it's like I'm looking at it. What year is it?
Well, and Paul London was a superstar and a big name in year one ROH.
Hey, there you go.
Dating back to 2002
Looping back around.
And a little bit into early 2003, I think as well. London was a big deal for the company. Had a banger ROH World Title match against Samoa Joe at one point.
Hey, there we go. I love how these facts just lumped together and worked out.
I'm pretty sure that one's on Honor Club someplace. The early shows are still a little bit hit or miss, but I'll have to look up where it was at. But it was tremendous stuff. He had great outings with Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, AJ Styles. They're all out there.
Wow.
And
Yeah, this
I love
Lee
that you
guy
pointed out
looked just like him.
I love that you pointed out the spear too, because that was something that I had in my notes as well. And I loved that just from a strictly in character way too. You know, what in what I get the whole idea of what Jake Roberts called the take 3 to give 1 kind of mentality that wrestlers will sometimes have. But why would you do that to yourself if it's not strictly necessary? If you can just hit the move, get the impact, and then roll into relative safety. That seems like such an obvious thing to do, and people don't do it. Like, I love anything that sets it apart and makes it feel more sporty like that.
More sporty. Like the spice.
Yes.
Sorry.
Absolutely. That was 100% what I was going for.
I'm interested to see how Blake Christian is used in Ring of Honor. I know that he's signed to Ring of Honor now. Or he was on like a year deal and now he's back and he re-signed, from what I know. But I love shit heel Blake Christian. I think that Matt Cardona changed him as a wrestler, which about time, changed him for the better. So I'm into this. It's like kind of how I feel about Aaron Solo, except with talent. So, you know, y'all know how I feel about Aaron Solo, which I will eat my words if he becomes a champion before, you know, Blake Christian or something. But on to the part that actually matters. We have footage shown of the Ring of Honor Women's Champion, the longest reigning Ring of Honor champion, Athena, in Stardom. And I wanted to have Melball talk about it. This little preview, because you were the one that was telling me about Tekla, right? Tekla?
Oh yeah. That Tekla is how they typically say it in Japan, but like our English language, we usually say Tekla with
Thekla.
the th.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Tekla is one of my absolute favorites. Obviously, that's why the banner is here. She oozes this just the same kind of confidence that Blake Christian has. She has this unapologetic conviction about herself where she's like, this is who I am. You either take it or you leave it. If you want to leave it, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you for it. And she's just so good at it. She's finally where she needs to be in the company, where she was with Julia's faction, Donna Del Mondo, until it disbanded. Immediately she goes to the heel faction of Oedo Tai, which rebranded into Hate. I love Hate. I love this faction. This faction can do no wrong to me. And this match was exactly what I expected out of Hate. Hate is essentially the good version of House of Torture in Stardom.
The good version of House of Torture.
Good version, yeah. So like they have the shenanigans that they do inside the match where they get involved in the match. They're pulling out the referee. They're using weapons. They're pulling out the opponents. They're fighting the other people in the other corner. But they're not doing it in a way that is so obnoxious like House of Torture. It's one of those things where it's not happening all the time. It happens when it makes sense. So it makes a very fun story that escalates and de-escalates throughout the match. And that's exactly what they did with Athena, because Athena kind of came over and immediately partnered with them and then kind of got yeeted out of them after that whole Wrestle Dynasty conundrum. So yeah, this was so much fun though. It was heavy hitting. It showed off Athena and her ability so good. She won back that loss. That so good. And I'm so happy that they showcased it. I was worried that there wasn't going to be a showcasing because sometimes Tony be Tonying and he doesn't always want to show off our shit. But I liked how this was shown off, and it made both kind of teams look strong by showing the big pop-ups of the match.
Yeah. I love it. I love that you have that knowledge of it. She looks good any way you slice it. So, but the footage that was shown during this part, all of Athena's hits. What Kyle, I want to know what you think about Athena being over in Japan. What do you think that means for Athena? What do you think that means for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship and into 2025, if you want to go that far?
First of all, I don't know how you can watch even just clips of Athena's post-match comments and not come away with how unbelievably special this is for her. And
Yeah.
I love that for her, that she's getting to do that. I love the match with Tekla.
Mhm.
That got to happen, that she got to do that, that Wrestle Dynasty helped build to that. I'm still wondering whether or not a match with Momo is on the horizon somewhere.
I suspect so.
Oh.
Given
I
that
suspect so.
she got the fall over Athena at Wrestle Dynasty,
Mhm.
and so that's a thing that could be coming down the pike, and I'm very on board with this plan too. As far
If you
as
get Momo over here, you could get more members of Hate over here. Could you imagine bringing over the captain, Natsuko Tora, and just heading her in front of Momo and Thekla?
Oh my god.
Right.
we could have a lot of fun.
I'm into fun.
There's a lot of and this is things that we've talked about in the lead up to Wrestle Dynasty. The title situation got thrown into a bit of disarray presumably because of the match at Wrestle Dynasty. You had you were building to Final Battle. Athena faces Billy Starks, her protege, for a second time. Billy is once again broken away from MIT. This is one of those things where all the story beats say Billy wins the title. And then she didn't. And in the wake of it seemed very obvious now that, oh, well, in 2 weeks' time, Athena's going to Japan to represent Ring of Honor as part of this whole thing at Wrestle Dynasty. Obviously, you want her to have the belt when she does it. Never mind, the fact that you booked yourself into a corner with Billy before. Fine, but that does bring us into 2025 and where we're going to go from here. And Billy still feels like Endgame, which, because of what you've done at Final Battle, is really messed up now.
It is really messed up.
I don't know how you can justify running that again. And which means maybe you need someone to be an interim. And
interim?
Not fine, transitional.
Oh.
I mean, neither word is ideal.
No, they're not. And maybe this was just a bad case of bad timing for Billy, and her time's just going to wait longer than we anticipated, which she's 19, 20? She can wait. She'll be plenty fine. It would be really interesting to see what would happen if someone like a Momo were to come over here and actually take the title. But that being said, then we run into the whole situation of, well, she does not work here. She's not going to work here. She's not contracted here. How long can we reasonably expect her to keep it? And then who do you have beat her for it?
Mina. Mina's moved to the US, so she's going to be there a lot more easily for them. That was kind of the decision that I thought they were going to go for, honestly, because I know they're not going to give her anything on AEW right away. I feel that based on what I've seen on Ring of Honor, based of what I've seen with AEW, I feel that Ring of Honor would be a better place for someone like Mina to gain a foothold in the North American market as opposed to AEW. I feel like AEW is more of the build for her, the build up to it, and that Ring of Honor would be the best place for her. That being said, I also don't like it when someone hyped up, comes into the company and wins the championship right away. I feel like there needs to be some
You
kind
don't, because I love that. I love it.
depends on the
I
person.
mean,
But if it
and
doesn't make sense in a story, because like Mina's a phenomenal wrestler, but
Mhm.
would it make sense for her to come in and just dethrone just on her first try with no kind of really lead up to it after losing a lot of title matches and recently losing to Mercedes? Would it make sense, and would it serve Athena coming into the show to have her dethroned by that? I don't think
Mhm.
it would.
hmm yeah, and that was a lot from me to say that despite having one of the best women going right now in Athena, if not the best, she's very much in the conversation if she's not at the top. Despite having her at the top of the division, the rest of the division feels like it's kind of a mess right now. Like there doesn't seem to be a clear direction. And like you've got Red Velvet kind of doing her act on the undercard with the TV title, and then you've got Layla Hirsch kind of chasing her there. But the top of the women's division is kind of directionless right now, it feels like, outside of Athena. Yeah, you have a dominant Athena, and I saw that comment, and I said Ed is going to have some heat with Mel over that.
Hell no. You took Julia. You work with that for a little bit. That was
Mm.
ours.
But no, like the top outside of Athena, the top of the women's division in ROH feels kind of messy and directionless right now. There doesn't appear to be any real obvious contenders,
Mhm.
and you know, I don't know what the order of I don't know how everything worked out in terms of the calendar. Like if Final Battle was in place before you knew about Wrestle Dynasty being a thing, or you know what order that was, but it kind of threw a wrench into the whole division. It feels like.
Yeah, I totally agree. Interesting to see, because I think that ROH booked themselves into a corner with Athena. I don't think that she'll lose the title until All In or Y'all In. Sorry, my eyes are watering. Um, but I don't know if that means once Athena loses the title, will she be doing more stuff in Japan, or will she go to the AEW roster? I don't know where the future holds, but we have enough women in the AEW women's division. It should be separate.
But you could only have 7 of them during the women's casino gauntlet match. So
Throw my body into the ocean. Why don't you? But speaking of women's match, we do have a proving ground match, which
it's Auntie's favorite thing.
okay, so Melball proving ground matches should be used sparingly, but it's to prove your ground, right? You've been working week after week after week. A proving ground match is a 10-minute match. If you last the entire 10 minutes or you win over the champion, then you get a title match.
Oh, okay.
The way that Ring of Honor has been booking these proving ground matches has been, we would like the champion to appear against a nobody, but we don't want it to be for the title. We'll just have it be a proving ground match. And no ground will ever be proved, but that's what we're doing here.
I can think of
2 times.
Twice, I believe,
Mhm.
that something actually happened. They were both 10-minute time limit draws. The Infantry lasted the 10 minutes against the Kingdom, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, to set up a match at Death Before Dishonor. I want to say 24. Sounds right. And just recently with QT Marshall going the 10-minute time limit against Commander for the TV title.
Yep. That's it.
I'm pretty sure those are the only ones, and they've run. I stopped counting, but we've probably run 50 or 60 of these things.
There was a time in the thick of it last year where they were doing every match was a freaking proving ground match against not signed people. Nobody was proving anything in.
They were doing 1 or 2 a week, almost every week.
Yeah. Insane. So while I'm not holding my breath, I did think that this match for the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship match, this proving ground match, sorry, it's not a championship match, proving ground match, while I think that this competitor was sized up our champion, I don't want to see the champion so easily sized up by someone who is not worthy of proving their ground. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The first proving ground match was actually on one of the very early episodes of Sinclair, which puts it around 2011 or so, and it was Red Dragon. I believe it was Red Dragon at the time as the champions, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, against CNC Wrestle Factory, Caprice Coleman and Cedric Alexander.
Oh my God.
And Caprice and Cedric had been at least around the company for a while and had built up some wins, and it made it at least vaguely credible that they would be wanting to get into title contention.
Vaguely credible.
But and in this case, the proving ground concept made sense. It's like, okay, these guys are clearly going places in the tag division, but they're not really proper number one contenders yet. So here, let's do this. And
there's a puppy.
There is.
There's a puppy.
It's Kojima, president of Bread Club.
Hi.
That's who he's named after, Satoshi Kojima.
That is a tremendous choice.
You love bread.
Oh my goodness.
Your face out there. There you go. You're so handsome.
Okay, I'm coming over just to snuggle your dog.
He will love that. He's a snuggle bug.
Oh.
I love that. But yeah. Kyle, continue. Sorry, I was talking about,
No, that was really the bulk of it, and it's just that the proving ground concept. Yeah, Kojima did just lose his MLW title. We won't talk about to who.
Yeah, because I've already seen that person's butthole. I don't need to talk about him at all ever again.
Yeah, we don't like him and where we are either.
No, the proving ground concept has strayed so far from its original concept in ROH, and at this point, it's just an excuse for a flimsy excuse for a non-title match that you want to gussy up and make sound a little bit more important than it really is, and that it's not your champion just murking some poor enhancement talent.
Yeah.
Astrid got to meet him.
Okay, not fair. Not fair. Listen, Kyle, we'll do a road trip. I'll pick you up, and then we can just go north. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if my car, my little Hyundai Accent.
Technically, I'm pretty sure I'm a little bit further east of where they're at. I'm not 100% sure on that. So I might have to meet you somewhere around the Dakotas and go north from there. I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, I might die. Actually, I don't think that I can, because the snow and the Cascades here, you need chains in my car.
Oh.
My car tires are too small for chains. That's how small my car is.
Oh no.
Yeah. The smallest a tire can be. Anyways, yes. Kyle should pick up Auntie, then go north. Hey, that would be fun. Anyways, So here's the thing I liked about this match, because clearly Angela Risk doesn't go here. We don't know her. She has that sass. She has that zing. And it pissed me off because why is she? Because your champions should be up here, right? Level wise, skill wise, like everything. And it's not to say that they can't fall down sometimes, but this match was entirely too long for somebody that we don't even know, that is not well established, to be able to knock down your champion. It felt insulting to me, a viewer that watches week after week after week, because what I think I don't think that anytime that Angela Risk has been on Ring of Honor that she has won ever. She's already had 2 proving ground matches that have been lost. What has she deserved?
Oh, I didn't know she'd lost before.
Oh yeah. It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But the way that they got into each other's faces felt very like bring it on kind of thing, of like, you did this to me, and I'm gonna get you. And there was so much sass that I was like, okay, so let's start doing some wrestling. We started doing some wrestling. They traded blows. Was too long of a match. Be done with it, Red.
By my count, this is actually Angelica's 3rd proving ground match. On episode 10, she lost to Athena. On episode 70, she lost a TV title proving ground match to Billy Starks. And now this. She has also yet to win a match in Ring of Honor, and has had this match went 5:58 by my count, and that
five minutes.
2 matches in her 7 in Ring of Honor to date that have lasted longer than 5 minutes.
This match felt forever.
This is what I mean about proving ground being abused. People who have never won a match in Ring of Honor are being placed 1 win or 1 fluke away from a title match. This is not what the concept was meant to be used for.
No. And
that being said, I will say I didn't mind Risk going all out into it and trying to fluster Velvet, which it appeared that she did.
Right.
Partially because one commentary said that Risk had a win over Velvet at an independent show. I couldn't find a record of that anywhere, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist or it didn't happen. And I have no reason not to believe them. But
yeah,
because it's pro wrestling, everything is real.
And don't you better fact check it.
That being said, like Velvet, as we recall, is very newly into this sort of heelish kind of turn, and it wouldn't be surprising character-wise to see that marked by a lot of insecurity, a lot of not being sure of who and what she is and where she's going and what she's doing, and trying to prove herself to herself. And you get someone like an Angelica Risk coming in with the power, with the striking, and with the constant trash talk to kind of throw you off your game, especially if it's someone who you've lost to before. If you're kind of in a fragile psyche, as Red might be with this new turn, that can throw you off your game and cost you valuable minutes in a match like that. And in a match where you only need to last 10 to get a title shot, you're going to take every advantage that you can.
There we go.
To agree with you guys, as someone who's like just starting to watch this is kind of like my first introduction. Knowing that that's the concept and knowing that there's clearly not a lot of thought being put into it kind of makes it be like, why isn't it just a regular match? Why are you putting a special stipulation on it? It doesn't make it special anymore. It's just kind of there. I also echo what Auntie said. It did not feel like 5 minutes. It felt way longer. This match
Mhm.
dragged. But I also did like that Risk did start sassing Velvet, partially because it kind of acted for me as someone who didn't really know either of them, kind of
Mhm.
acted as like a bit of foreshadowing, obviously, because you talk your shit, you gonna get hit. And
Mhm.
she really, she got hit. She got really hit. Um, what I also loved is that obviously she's not going to sass her when she's getting her butt beat, but I loved how every time she started to come back, she started sassing right again. What I liked about the sass, because
Mhm.
I agree with Auntie, is that your champion is supposed to be the highest kind of credible person holding that title. But what this match also did was force Velvet to improve within this match. We watched her grow and evolve her character in this match because at the first part, when Risk was sassing her, she kind of seemed like hesitant and seemed to back down a little bit, almost like her BAMs had been boozled in some way by the actions of Risk. And then we watched her step back up to her. And by the time she was throwing that last punch in the match, we witnessed her come into that kind of almost like we watched her evolve from level 1 heel into level 2 heel in this match. So where I don't like that it didn't really do anything for this honor thing that they're supposed to be doing with it. I do like the character work that it did do for Velvet in this one.
We'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath, but it seems that all of the energy and resources are not being put into the ROH Women's Tag Champion reign, I'm guessing. We've just kind of
Take
Well,
TV
TV.
TV.
champion.
Sorry, did I say
Okay, well,
tag?
there's only one girl.
Sorry.
And well, and again, you've got Layla Hirsch coming after Velvet and the TV title, who Velvet had to use a wrench to beat her last time. So there's Velvet needs to kind of level up and get her confidence up and really feel like this is a thing that she can conquer.
Agreed. So with that, we go right into a classic match, which this is not really a classic. This is Mark Briscoe versus Slim J, which is the first Ring of Honor on Honor Club episode 1 in the AW era. It's from 2023. Do you guys remember 2023? You guys remember it?
I do. I do. It was. I was younger then.
I felt younger then. Yes. I don't have much notes about this because I don't remember it being that remarkable.
My number one note was that I missed the Universal tapings.
Kimmy might have been alive. I miss Kimmy. We do miss Kimmy for sure. But you were saying that Universal?
I missed the Universal tapings.
You do?
Which, yes. And also, I had to look back up that show to remember what else was on it, because it felt like Mark Briscoe and Slim J felt like a weird choice, but I guess being the very first match, they gave it some sort of credence. Also on that show was Zack Sabre Jr. defending the NJPW World TV title against Blake Christian. Konosuke Takeshita against Josh Woods. And Claudio Castagnoli defending the ROH World title against AR Fox. But you choose Mark Briscoe and Slim J?
It was a choice?
Go with the main event of the first show, because hopefully the TV title should be the main event of the 100th show. I mean, ideally, you'd get all your titles and involved for your 100th show, but God knows Chris Jericho can't be bothered to show up.
And that's okay. I don't need to see that. Um,
But we could have gone back to Claudio and AR Fox. That would have been a blast.
That would have been so much more fun.
yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know who Slim J is. Is he someone who's still around,
Uh,
or was
I
like?
believe he was released when they had that rash of releases a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Slim J was an ROH original guy. He was involved with I think he was involved. I want to say he was involved with Special K, the Raver Kid faction that they ran around 2002 or so when they were doing all the scramble matches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He came up in the Georgia area, working out of NWA Wildside,
Hmm.
and was in his day was a really innovative high flyer. But the problem is that even by the time that this match rolled around in 2023, you had a lot of guys on the roster that could do what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. I was gonna say he felt like he kind of was like like the people who were with him at ringside, because I believe I saw Aria Davari at the side there. I was like,
Yes.
he wrestles very similar style to Davari, so I was like, okay. I thought his outfit was hilariously adorable, though. The Air Jordans and
That's just
That's
him.
pants.
that's because the whole bit when he debuted in ROH back in the day was trying to look like the rapper Eminem, more or less.
Oh, that
And
explains the slim
and
name.
he
Yeah.
functionally had not updated his gimmick in all that time. I mean, he's worked under other gimmicks in other
Oh.
places, but it was
He definitely was
It
giving
was
me
dated
like
when it was new.
Yeah, it
it was
was.
giving me Eminem versus like Ricky Starks vibes. Is
Mm.
what it was giving me. Like he looks a little similar to Ricky Starks in the face. I expected him to just start doing his little weird grindy thing, and I was like, what the heck? Um, it was a very odd pairing of styling. Sometimes that I find that styles, if you have like a really extreme lucha and a really extreme technical, they can work really well because lucha has that technical undertone. You can usually find some kind of commonality. This one, it felt like these guys were kind of fighting for dominance on whose style was going to be more on display in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate, though, the character that Briscoe is with the hillbilly karate, always doing the wah. It amused me greatly. Um,
The redneck kung fu
I
has
was,
been over
Redneck Kung Fu.
forever.
is that what it is?
Yep.
Redneck
Redneck kung
Kung
fu.
Fu. Oh my God, it was funny. I like how Jade chopped that shit out of Slim until his chest bled, though. That was pretty cool. Um, not the awkward shirt rip off, though. I probably could have done without. So at that point, I was like, "Ooh, that's a little cringe." Especially when he went into that wild dive that he did, where he caught Jay in the face and busted his head open with his shin. Oof, that looked rough. Um, I did appreciate though how they were at the end there starting to kind of roll around a little bit more and kind of go toe to toe with each other. I did feel, even though it seemed like an odd mixing of style, when
Mm-hmm.
it came down to strike versus strike, Slim J could hang with Briscoe any day. He was hitting him really, really hard. I really appreciated because there was a very obvious size difference between these guys. But I felt like Slim J kind of made up for that with those powerful chops and kind of strikes that he was doing. Um, I didn't realize that Briscoe's finisher was a pile driver called the J Driller.
Yes,
I got
That's
excited
his
about that.
brother.
that was his brother Jay's finish.
Makes sense
Um,
with the J.
and Jay had actually, and to those who don't remember, this was far enough ago that Jay had just passed about a month and a half prior to that match being taped.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the pile driver looked phenomenal. Really, really good. And he fed it into him really, really quickly too. Made it look very organic, very seamless. But yeah, this was an interesting match because it took me a while to realize that this wasn't a match that was happening the day of. I didn't see the 2003 thing that was announced at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then when I watched the show a second time, I was like, oh, okay. It's good to know.
Yeah, they're stretching the definition of what classic or historical means at this point, I feel like. But
Yeah.
Because
it felt
all of the
recent enough that it shouldn't be vintage yet.
because all of this started because a few weeks ago, when I say a few weeks, I mean like a couple months ago, there was a set of tapings that had to be scrapped because people got injured and they didn't want to show those things, and they recorded it the day before, which was very, Ring of Honor. So instead of giving us a short show, they said, why don't we start doing this classic thing? And people did respond positively for the first couple times. They were showing matches like Danielson versus Kenta.
the first one they showed was Joe versus Kobashi.
Joe versus Kobashi. Showing Colt Cabana and Nigel. Sorry. I was like, which
Soccer Riot match.
Stalker Riot match?
Soccer Riot.
What does that mean?
The Soccer Riot match was literally just a bog standard street fight that Colt decided to call a Soccer Riot match because Nigel's English.
Because he's English?
There's nothing they fight over there, though, to be fair.
I love it. But we've had these like little pieces of classic matches, and the most recent match up to this point was the Kenny King and Shane Taylor match, which it was like, oh, okay, we're talking about, way back then, this is a different era, but this is the same era, same shit, different show.
Wasn't one of their historical matches the Athena Willow?
Yes, Athena.
I think they did that one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Which I want to say that was just a couple of weeks ago because it was leading into the Wrestle Dynasty.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I forgot about that.
Just what? Who's fucking this shit?
Not us. Not us.
No. Despite our consistent offers.
I know. And my price is very low. As long as you cover my flights, I can take my dogs with me to these tapings and pay me just a little bit more than being made out, which is like pennies compared to what Tony is paying these other people.
It's true. I work cheap. I have very little shame.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to stay here. You can call me. I have a phone.
Yeah. Listen, I wouldn't mind to be on a flight a couple times a month when we're doing Ring of Honor tapings. If I can bring my dog with me,
that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'd love that. A hit backstage. Everybody would love him.
You know what?
Yeah,
I love it. Well, we do have a main event to chat about.
Mm-hmm. Yet another 8-man tag.
Here's my problem. This is not
a New Japan. This is not a New Japan Road 2 show where we have like 3 or 4 8-man tags.
Yeah, no.
I have to say
that are setting up stories. They have purpose sometimes.
This doesn't feel like it has any purpose. This is an 8-man tag.
There was no purpose.
Lee J, which we are showcasing EJ Naduka and Lee Johnson with Shane Taylor Promotions of Lee Moriarty and Shane Taylor versus Boulder, Serpentico, and Alex Reynolds and Evil Uno, which I feel like I've seen this match before. I've seen some iteration of the Dark Order versus Shane Taylor too many freaking times. I don't need to see this. What a main event. They get to choose the order that they put these matches in, and they bookended it with 2 8. Excuse me? Okay. Somebody start talking before I have an aneurysm.
And this was another case. The team of Boulder, Serpentico, and Dark Order.
Why?
Well, one, it's got to be injury affected because
Didn't they say
right
Silva
around-
had a pulled hamstring?
I want to say that sounds right. Right around the new year, Bronson was hospitalized because of back problems. I
Because
think he said he
was-
found something like 4 herniated discs in his back or something like that.
because he
I forget what it
tried
was.
to move a commercial grade refrigerator by himself.
Yeah. He did also
Yeah.
say that his back was in not great shape from years of wrestling, and
Sure.
that was finally the weird thing that he did that pushed it over the edge to, okay, this is now a serious problem. Regardless,
Bridge that broke the wrestler's back.
yes, that's cold.
Yeah, that is cold.
Regardless, we hope he's getting healthy. We hope he's good to go. You know, even if this, especially if this was an ongoing problem, better to get it fixed sooner rather than later. But yeah, John Silver is out with a hammy or something like that. I want to say Angelico is still hurt with something odd, but I'm not sure. I want to say I had heard that he's out too, Serpentico's usual partner. So this just became a whole team full of also-rans. Like, maybe we could have subbed out somebody from Dark Order and put in Griff Garrison too, because Cole Carter's still hurt. Just throw them all out there. But
see, this kind of stuff I'm used to.
That said, Boulder standing on the apron next to Serpentico was pretty fantastic. Just the visual of the
size difference was laughable for sure.
Boulder got to do some really fun power stuff. The double fall away slam, Samoan drop combination is always super popular. Catching a Shane Taylor crossbody and turning it into a power slam, just ludicrous strength. Like, and that's the one of those weird things about the Iron Savages. The crowd really wants to like the Iron Savages, but you've got them in this weird tweener heel thing with Jack Jameson that doesn't really get heat, and like the crowd wants to like them. Let them.
Yeah, you start fighting the crowd on what it is that they like, you end up in a John Cena situation or a Roman Reigns situation where they're doing the crowd's booing when they're supposed to be cheering or vice versa. And just let us do what we want. We don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
Yep, that's not my kink.
But that being said, we did get to see a champion in this match, because Lee Moriarty, the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling champion. And not only that, Moriarty got the fall, making Serpentico tap out to the make Serpentico tap out to the Border City stretch. So
he looks so good. I mean, we were talking about matches of the year, and matches of the year for 2024. For me, I'm not going to pick your Will Ospreay matches. I'm not going to pick all your Danielson matches, although one of Danielson matches was on my list. You know, one of my matches was Nigel versus Lee Moriarty, because that's the best Lee Moriarty has looked, and I am such a fangirl of Nigel and Lee Moriarty. And I haven't watched the documentary, the Nigel doc, because guess what? I thought it was coming out tonight, and it came out last week. Where am I? So I'm going to go watch that eventually, because I know that there is that part where Lee Moriarty was talking about how Nigel's comeback to the ring, he helped him get into that ring shape. And what do you know? They gave him at Final Battle, Nigel motherfucking McGuinness, that gem of a human. I'm always going to have him right there in my heart. And I love that I got to tell Nigel in person, Wrestle Dream Weekend, that I used to torrent his matches because it wasn't accessible to me in college, and I was way too poor to take my ass all the way to the Manhattan Center and watch him because I was making peanuts. I'm bartending. I'm doing all the things. I'm working. I'm going to school and doing things in college, knowing that was right there. I couldn't have just, made my way in there. Come on. That was a great moment during Honor Ramble, just letting Auntie talk about it. Listen, if people give me the opportunity, I will just talk about anything. If you want to hear more about that, watch the OLE year-end award show, which is here on this channel. Auntie's Martini is back. Oh my gosh. Melball, do you know the story about Auntie's Martini?
No, tell me.
Okay, so I don't know who has created this account, but right before Honor Ramble, a couple weeks ago, I was having one of those days that I just needed a martini. I'd been saving my vermouth because I only had a little bit left, and I had a whole jar of freaking stuffed olives that they were the nice kind, and I was going to make a filthy martini. I have this new shaker. I used my little shaker, did all the things, poured it into my martini glass. I turned, and it just fell out of my hand.
No.
Before I could even get it. And I was like, you know what? That's exactly the kind of day. It's someone whoever is controlling my puppet strings just was like, drop it.
Yeah, it's not
and it just shattered. It just shattered on the ground.
No.
Oh no, the martini story. You know what? I'm gonna get another martini. I'm gonna come on the show. Maybe I'll do that for our 100th, the actual 100th episode next week because.
And it occurred to me, I had to step up and step away there for a second because it occurred to me as we talked about the Nigel documentary that.
Oh, he hasn't, and it's autographed.
His original one, Last of McGinnis from 2013, that I picked up from him at an ROH show in Detroit.
Wow.
I have a torrented copy of that.
But yes, so I'm with you. I feel that it is. It's much harder to sign a digital concept.
The cruise isn't this weekend. The cruise is 2 weeks, right?
I was going to say a few days ago, she had a counter on her story that said it was 25 days.
Mm-hmm.
I think
the martini
it's
that gravity forgot. Well,
that's a good one, though.
What an ending to a show about nothing. Final thoughts, y'all.
Have fun. Have fun with this show. It didn't have anything that made me like or like hate the product. I can obviously see room for improvement in certain things and finding out more information. I'm kind of like, oh, we're going to be sitting on the same disappointment rowboat next week and the weeks to come. But as someone who hasn't been into the North American style wrestling for a very long time, this is a very nice introduction, not just because you guys got some people that I recognize from Japan, like Shibata, but because the wrestlers very obviously here have a lot of heart in what it is that they want to do. And they are just clearly, a lot of them, just doing their absolute bestest to do what it is that they're asked to do. Whether it makes sense or not, that's why we're here, to talk about how it doesn't or does make sense. But overall, I'm really happy with this. I've definitely seen worser.
Worser.
But
Yeah.
I had a really good time with the show.
More batter. No. Ah!
I had a really good time with this. There's not a match on this where I was just like, the Red Velvet versus was it Angelica? Spanish, I don't know. Astrid will correct me about it later, I'm sure. That one went a little long for what it was, but I still felt that it did something for Velvet in the long run that was hopefully trying to be done in elevating that kind of heel mentality with her. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the actual 100th episode next week.
Yeah, this to me was a good example of what you can do with ROH. It was a little over an hour long. It was tighter. The total one of the things that I do, Mel, is that I'll track total episode time, match time, average match time, and so on.
Perfect.
Episode was 111. Total match time in ring, bell to bell, was 48:54, which was 68.2% of the show was in ring, bell to bell, which
That's
meant
good.
the show moved. It felt like it moved fast.
Yeah.
It felt like it felt tighter. It felt more directed. It was an hour. You got in, you got out, you advanced some stories. That's all the weekly show needs to be. There are situations where, and this was something that Tony Khan pitched as an advantage when they talked about originally doing the show on Honor Club, which was, we can make the show as long or as short as we want because we own the platform. And sometimes that has been a weekly show that is 2 hours long and has anywhere from 11 to 15 matches on it, many of which are only running about 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh, why?
We don't know. We have
Matches
never
should
known.
be longer than the wrestlers' entrances, you guys. Come on now, who taught you wrestling?
We have never known, but but there are some episodes where that was a thing. I famously, to me at least, I will never forget it. Before I started this show, I sat in with Kate on one of the Fightful ROH shows. It was her partner at the time was out at Double or Nothing in Las Vegas with AEW, and so she asked me to fill in for the ROH show that week, and it was 19 matches.
That sounds terrible.
Do they even
Like-
have enough people to have that many matches?
We had as much fun with it as we possibly could, but oh my word, it was a death march.
I would feel
But-
like maybe after the 6th match, you'd be kind of like begging for the end. 19?
But the point, well, that and the people that had to listen to me for 2.5 hours after the show. But
Wow. So many matches.
but the point
Wow.
is, like, this was a much tighter, well-directed show. Average match time I had at 8:09, and not including the Mark Briscoe versus Slim J match. The average match time of the ones that are current was 7:59. So that's a good TV. That's a good TV show. You got to tell your story to sort of advance the women's TV title situation. You updated the women's world title situation. You had the men's TV champion in action, at least, and then but then you could say, and Ian said this on commentary, he was supposed to defend it today, but QT Marshall decided to postpone the match for a week for the 100th show. So you told that story. Like, you moved things forward. You got in and out. Like, this was very effective, even if nothing was particularly blow away.
Yeah.
It was a good entry point for me as someone who hasn't seen the product much before.
I believe it was that. I want to say it was during the AEW Dark days when
Yeah.
that was a thing as well. And I want to say that that of that 19 match monstrosity, a significant chunk of them were enhancement squashes.
Insane.
Like, why are we doing
Why?
that? Why?
Yeah, there's time and places for that. If there's something going into it, it makes sense. But if you're just doing it for the sake of just being like, hey, this dude's a monster, it's like, yes, but why? And why do we care? Why should I care? Is he going to be given something? Like, there should be some kind of rational kind of progression forward, unless you're just a lemming marching off the side of a cliff. Don't want to do that, especially if you just started
there are
back
weeks
up
where
the
it feels
company.
like it.
There are weeks where it feels like it.
You're joining the lemmings.
Joining the Lemmings. That's what we're doing here.
But we have fun here regardless. So welcome to the crazy.
And great job. Absolutely great job, Collins, Melball Collins. Why don't you
That's me.
plug away what you're doing here, where we can find
Plug
you.
my ish. If you're wanting to follow a Melball, you can follow me on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can follow me on everything else: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, Blue Sky. I think still TikTok. I'm not entirely sure. I'm Melball Collins. You can also find me on my YouTube channel with 2/3 Andre C, where we do Andre and Melball's wrestling talk. We talk about Stardom. We talk about New Japan. We talk about the local wrestling scene. And now we just released our show, Did You Know? Talking about Pro Wrestling Noah. So you can go check that out. We're going to be having another. You're right. We're funny over at Andre and
That's
Melball's.
funny.
You can also catch us here on Fridays for the Japanese Wrestling Update at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, where we update you about all the news and stuff from Japan, New Japan, Noah, and Stardom, Marigold, anything out there that's Japanese. We're going to talk about it. You can also catch me on Monday with Auntie on the Women's Classic Wrestling Show with also Astrid Pizarro. She's in the chat there, Sil. I see. But you can catch us there. We're doing, I think, episode 7 next with the Mae Young Classic in 2017. We're having quite the experience. I've never seen any of these matches before, so we're going on a journey, whereas Auntie and Astrid have seen these matches before, so they're revisiting some fun stuff. We're having a fun time talking about it. And what else? I think that's it. I think that's it for me. Yay.
Ooh.
Here.
All right.
All right. You can follow me on, I guess you can still follow me on X, Twitter. I usually only show up there to check my group chats because Blue Sky really needs to have a group chat functionality.
Right?
But I am there at Kyle K. Sparks. You can follow me at Blue Sky, at Kyle K. Sparks. Those are the two that I use. I have plenty of others, but I don't really update them. I don't know why you would follow me there when I don't update them. I am very bad at promoting myself, apparently. But nevertheless, check me out on those. I'm live tweeting shows. I'm doing all sorts of odd little things as they come to mind. I'm here Thursdays. I took a bit of a hiatus because of real life job related things, but I'm back, checking that out. Glad to be back. Really, really thankful. Do not have enough positive, wonderful things to say about Auntie, about my dear co-host here. Melball, I'm thrilled to have you on board. This is going to be super, super fun. I'm so excited to have two amazing people to co-host with.
It's the
give
Collins,
us a follow.
The Collins effect.
Yes.
Collins 2 points.
Yes. Hard yes. But yeah, give me a follow, Blue Sky. That's where all my stuff's happening. That's where I'll be talking about anything that does happen. If you do want to hear about ROH history, if we really want me to embark on that project,
Yes.
let us know. And
Yes.
and we'll see what we can do. That's about all I've got. Like, follow, share, subscribe.
Look at all this love for you, Kyle. Listen, Kyle, if you do it, I'll do a small little history on the Pure title, and you can help me fill in the gaps where I don't have brain cells.
Like the aborted first run of the Pure title that lasted maybe a couple of months. And then I'm not sure other word you'd use for it. They put.
You're not wrong.
They put the pure title on AJ Styles at the second anniversary show at the end of a tournament.
One of my favorite matches.
And then a couple of months later, AJ disappeared because TNA pulled all of their talent because of the Rob Feinstein incident. And then ROH was just left with
nothing.
We just had this whole tournament to crown a champion, and now we have no champion.
Now we have no champion. But yeah, if you
but they made up for it by putting the pure title on Doug Williams, and then it was off to races from there.
Yeah. So wherever you celebrate, we celebrate with you. But you can follow me anywhere there's a social media _queer auntie. If they don't like underscores, like Blue Sky, just follow me at queer auntie. Always love to do a chit chat. If you're mean to me or my friends, I don't like you and we're blocked and we have beef. But if you want to be nice and you want to chit chat, go follow me there, because I am doing something almost every single day of the week. Thursdays we're here for Honor Ramble. Fridays I'm on my own channel doing the Collins on the Rocks podcast. We're doing happy hour right now. Tomorrow is my episode with Ella J. So you're going to want to look at my social media when we're going live. I did put 7 p.m. Pacific time, but you know how life happens. Saturdays, I'm here again for our local establishment doing the Mother Tucking post show, where we're talking about RuPaul's Drag Race, because you know what is also like wrestling? Drag. So guess what? I love it. And then I'm over on Fightful Overbooked on Sundays doing Wrestling Made Me Cry. And on Mondays, I'm back here to round it all off for Women's Classic Wrestling, where we talk about women's wrestling. And we are going into the quarterfinals for the Mae Young Classic. I've been having a good time, and you should meet us there, because guess what? It's on this channel, right? If you're watching this, it's here. Hi, hello. This is our local establishment. Hit that like, hit that follow button, put the little bell notification so you know when we're going live, because guess what? There is a show every single day of the week, and you won't want to miss being part of it all. You can be part of the replay crew, but we love seeing you here when you're here. Give us a follow anywhere there is a social media, and come say hey. But this has been a fun show. This is your new team, and I'm so excited for the future. Well, with that, we wish you all happy wrestling. Bye.
Was not a reach on the fire, was not aware of the fire now. But when I stopped to see through that